Hi, everybody, and thank you for coming to this Fulbright information session. This is the information session for the Fulbright U.S. Student Program. We're going to talk specifically about using the Fulbright Fellowship for graduate study. My name is Takata. I am one of the Fulbright Program advisors at the International Institute. So I advise on the Fulbright program. I also advise on a number of other external and internal fellowship awards that are administered through the International Institute. I am a sociologist by training. In terms of world areas, I'm the East Asia specialist. I have a master's degree in East Asian studies with a focus on Japan. So I sort of started off as a Japan specialist, slowly expanded my reach towards the rest of East Asia, and then to from there eventually to the rest of the world. So these days I advise on the Fulbright U.S. Student Program, as I said, along with a number of other programs. For the Fulbright program, I advise primarily for students who are doing the study research option, and particularly students who are interested in doing independent research. But as with all of us Fulbright advisors, we have basic knowledge of all of the programs, and so we advise kind of at the very basic level on all of the different kinds of Fulbright awards, but we each have our specializations. And so for kind of in-depth conversations, I strongly recommend that you talk to an advisor who is specialized in that particular award. So what we're going to do today is to go and talk in general about the Fulbright Award, and then specifically about how to use the Fulbright Fellowship to pursue graduate study, and what are some of the things to keep in mind as you are putting together an application for when you're trying to do an application for Fulbright for graduate study. So let's get right started. And okay, so here we go. So the Fulbright program is the mission of the program is to foster mutual understanding between nations, advance knowledge across communities, and improve lives around the world. This is the signature grassroots exchange program of the U.S. State Department, and because the State Department is involved in diplomacy, we're interested in the Fulbright program is interested in promoting kind of a citizen-to-citizen grassroots diplomacy between Americans and the rest of the world. The program was created in 1946, shortly after World War II, by an act of the U.S. Congress, sponsored by the Department of State, in particular the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, or ECA, within the State Department. The U.S. Student Program is the signature program that sends Americans abroad, and it's geared specifically to students or recent graduates, students who are currently enrolled and recent graduates. And it's the signature program of the dozen or so programs that have the Fulbright name. It is within the United States administered by a nonprofit organization called IIE, or the Institute for International Education. So we Fulbright advisors at the University of Michigan work closely with IIE, but they're ultimately the ones who run the application process, the online application management system, and give you all the notices about your status of the program, and so on and so forth. Outside of the United States, the Fulbright program is jointly administered by national commissions. They're called Fulbright commissions in most countries, or United States Educational Foundation. They're either administered by these binational commissions. There are about 40 of the countries that have these binational commissions, and where there are no binational commissions, the Fulbright program is administered by the U.S. Embassy located in that country. Okay. In terms of the eligibility for the Fulbright U.S. student program, basic eligibilities that you need to have U.S. citizenship by the application deadline. The national deadline is in October. You need to have a bachelor's degree or the equivalent by the start of the grant. And at the same time, no doctorate at the time of the application. And then in addition to these basic eligibility requirements, there are some country-specific requirements that have to do with language, sometimes level of study, sometimes particular kinds of activities that you could pursue in that country. So the program is open to graduating seniors. Right now, technically, rising juniors, students who are going to be seniors in the fall and expect to graduate within the next in the next 12 months. Recent graduates, as well as currently enrolled graduate students, as well as early career professionals, including those in the creative and performing arts. Again, those who do not have a terminal degree in their field or a PhD for academic disciplines. Okay. Next. So in terms of award types, roughly speaking, the Fulbright U.S. Student Program Award is available in over 140 countries, about 2,150 awards or thereabouts. These numbers vary a little. They go up and down a little bit every year. For the study and research grant, which is available to do independent research study or arts projects abroad, approximately 900 awards. They last anywhere from 6 to 12 months, and they're available in approximately 140 countries. The English Teaching Assistantship, or ETA, is the other major type of the Fulbright U.S. Student Program Award. These awards help place you, the Fulbright Fellow, in a school or a university, and to help teach English and U.S. culture in the classroom. Depending on the country, that can range anywhere from an elementary school classroom all the way up to university level. And these awards, there are approximately 1,250 awards. These awards last anywhere from 8 to 10 months, approximately a full academic year, and they're available in approximately 75 countries. Now, I need to mention that there are some countries that have both types of awards. There are other countries that only have one type of award or the other. And you can find out exactly which country has which award by going to the Fulbright U.S. Student Program national website and looking at the country description, and it will tell you exactly which countries have which awards and how many should be available. Now, I should mention today is March 19th. Technically, we're still in the previous application cycle, and so the new application for the 2025-26 competition cycle. Awards that are tenable during the academic year 2025-26. The application will open on April 2nd, and at that time, they will also update the national website with all the awards. And so there may be some changes between now and April 2nd in terms of the number of awards that are available, which countries have awards available, et cetera, et cetera. I will tell you that the vast majority of the awards are stable, and the countries are stable from year to year. And so I would expect that about 90% of the content that's up there already right now would still be valid. But keep in mind that when the new cycle opens in April, that there may be some new awards that are coming in. There may be some awards that are going to be retired, and so those changes will be coming. And so you want to double check and make sure after April 2nd, when the new application opens, that the awards that you're looking at right now will continue to be available in the next competition cycle. Okay, application components. So you will do an online application. As I said, the application will open on April 2nd, and there you will enter your basic personal data and program information, and complete things like short essays like the abstract, the host country engagement, future plans. You will write 2 essays. One is called a statement of grant purpose, and the other is called a personal statement. Depending on what type of award you're applying for, you will write a very different statement of grant purpose. The research study awards, 2 pages max, single-spaced. For English teaching assistantship awards, 1 page max, single-spaced. Personal statements, same for both types of awards, 1 page max, single-spaced. You will need 3 references or recommendations, and for those countries that require foreign language proficiency, you will also need a foreign language evaluation. And then you also upload your transcripts, and there may be other materials depending on exactly what you're proposing to do. If you're doing a research or independent research or a graduate study, you may be required to upload affiliation letters along with the application. If you're doing an arts application, there are additional supplementary materials, essentially your arts portfolio that's required in addition to everything else. Okay. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about components, we did an info session a while back specifically focused on the application component. There will be a recording of that info session available, and we'll have that posted on our Canvas site once we clean up the recording and get that all fixed up. But that will be available for you to go back and listen to later. Okay. Award benefits, basically, what do you get if you're selected as a Fulbright recipient? You'll get round-trip airfare, a monthly stipend. Exactly how much you're going to get depends on where you're going. So if you're going to a high-cost country, you'll get more money than if you're going to a medium or low-cost country. You also get basic accident and sickness benefits. If you're selected for an English teaching assistantship, you get an online teaching English as to speakers of other languages or TESOL fundamentals course. And then depending on the country and the award that you're getting, you might also have support for dependents, research allowance, tuition, language lessons, and other kinds of activities as well. In terms of the timeline, right now, this is the ideal time to get started. As I said, the online application will open on April 2nd. This is the time to start thinking about where do I want to go, what kind of award do I want to apply for, and then do I want to do an independent research project? Do I want to go to graduate study? Do I want to apply for an English teaching assistantship? And if so, where do I want to go? What does it entail? What kind of a project do I want to do? What are some research ideas if I want to do a research project, and so on and so forth. So you'll probably want to do some self-reflection, talk to your advisors, talk to one of us, and start figuring out what you want to do with your Fulbright, during your Fulbright year. The U of M campus deadline is August 25th. This is an online deadline. It is a Sunday. This is the Sunday before the first day of classes in the fall, and it's an online deadline. So it's 11:59 p.m. And you will submit your online application at that point. If you are able to submit your application by the U of M campus deadline, and you need to have a fairly close to this is basically you are next to the last draft of your application. If you're able to submit that, then you become eligible for an on-campus interview, which will take place in September, and we'll schedule you to meet with a panel of faculty, typically 2 to 3 faculty members, potentially a Fulbright alumnus or alumna, as well as one of us advisors usually. And we call it the campus interview, but this is not supposed to be a high-pressure interview situation. We're not going to eliminate anybody on the basis of this interview unless we find out that the application is really bogus or completely inappropriate for the kind of award that you're applying for. So if you have a genuinely faithful effort, make a good faith effort to put together a good application that's appropriate for the award that you're applying for, we're going to put your application forward to the next stage, the national competition. So we're not going to be eliminating anybody on the basis of the interview. But what that does is that on this interview session, you'll get a lot of feedback on your application. And then after the interview, you'll have an opportunity to revise your application one final time, and then resubmit your application for the national deadline, which is on October 8th. And then after the national deadline, the first stage of the review process takes place within the United States. It's called the National Screening Committee. It's a regionally based committee. It's organized by country, and typically, if it's a country that gets a large volume of application, it's a single country committee. Sometimes for countries that doesn't get a lot of applications, they might group them together into a region. So for example, Sub-Saharan Africa tends to get not as many applications as some of the countries in Europe. Most of the countries in Europe get enough applications that they have single country reviews. Sub-Saharan Africa, I think they do like the eastern half and the western half. But it's a regional committee of faculty who teach, tenured faculty who teach at American universities who are very familiar with the region, but it's an interdisciplinary committee. And so you'll get representatives from the humanities, the social sciences, some of the professions like public health, business, public policy, and they will read and rate your application and meet as a panel and discuss. And if you make the cut here at this stage, you will find out in late December and or more likely sometime in January that you made the cut. And if you make the cut, you'll be designated as a semifinalist, and then your application will then go over to the host country and for a host country review, and the Fulbright commissions and the U.S. Embassy would be responsible for conducting the host country review. And the result of that, they will make the final decision, and who will be designated a finalist, which means that you're going to, assuming that you can jump through all of the administrative hurdles and paperwork, that you get the happy award, or that you'll be an alternate, or you're not selected. That announcement typically comes right around this time of the year, or starts right around this time of the year. And although most of the award announcements will typically come in April. Some countries, the stragglers will run into late April and May, but definitely by mid-May, well over 90% of the award notifications will be done. If you're designated as an alternate, typically, if you're upgraded, that might come like in May, sometimes into June, even later. But that's a possibility for if you're designated as an alternate. So that's briefly what the award benefits and award timelines are. And so that's really the nuts and bolts, really the basics of the Fulbright Award. And so how does it work if you want to use this Fulbright Fellowship for graduate study? So Fulbright for graduate study is one of the options for the study research award type. So as I mentioned earlier, Fulbright kind of comes in two types. There's the study research, and then there's the English teaching assistantship, or the ETA. So this is a study research award type. It's one option that you could do under the study and research type. Now, not every country who has a study research award type will allow graduate study. So this is really important. Not every country that has a study research award will allow graduate study. So you will need to check the specific award description. Each country has a country page, and off of the country page, there are specific award page for that are available for that country, and you'll get a fairly lengthy description of the award, and that includes information like which degree levels are eligible, whether it's an open award or whether it's tied to a specific university or specific discipline, whether it's what are the requirements, country-specific requirements? Is there a language proficiency requirement? Is there does the study research award, is it only for research? Is it only for graduate study? Is it for both? If it's for a study award, does it only allow master's degree study, or can you do any graduate level degree enrollment, so on and so forth. So the award must allow graduate degree enrollment. So you will need to check and make sure that when you look at the award type that says, does the award allow graduate degree enrollment? It has to say yes. So make sure you check that. In addition, there are some countries that have specifically designated awards for graduate study, and you will be able to see that both in the name of the award as well as in the award description. So there are certain master's degrees award or master's study award. So for example, Israel has a number of awards that are designated as a master's degree award, where you can do any number of, maybe a list of about 30 or so different master's degrees at half a dozen different universities within Israel. South Korea has a Korean Studies Master's Degree Award, where if you're interested in Korean studies, you can go and do a master's degree in Korean studies at a number of different universities options in South Korea. United Kingdom is another one where this one was a kind of an unusual situation, but United Kingdom has a very long collection, approximately 30, where one Fulbright award is tied to a particular university. And so you will see in the UK listing a long list of awards where it says the Fulbright University of Exeter Award, or Fulbright St. Andrews Award, or whatever. There's a list of about 30 different universities where this is possible. Now, some of those will allow graduate studies. Some of them are only for research. Again, you need to check and make sure. But these are called partnership awards, where the specific university or where a specific degree program is tied to the Fulbright. And many of those will also allow you to do graduate study, use the Fulbright for graduate study. So what does it mean to use the Fulbright for graduate study? Typically, a Fulbright award, as you saw earlier, for a study research award is typically 8 to 10, 8 to 12 months potentially. So it's essentially one academic year's worth of funding that you can use for either a one-year master's degree, so you're there for a year and you get your master's degree at the end of the year and you're going to be done, or you could use that for a first year of a 2 years master's degree. So the Fulbright will cover your first year, and then you kind of have to figure out what to do about your second year. Oftentimes the university may have scholarships that you can apply for once you're there, or you can use that for the first year of a multi-year PhD program. Now, read the fine print very carefully, because some partnerships master's degree awards actually cover 2 years of funding. So there are awards out there where you can apply to a 2-year master's degree, and Fulbright will cover both years of funding. Sometimes it'll say, outright and say 2 years of funding, or sometimes it'll say, if you go the first year and you make satisfactory academic progress and you get good grades, we'll renew your award for your second year. So read the fine print and go and look at the specifics of that particular country and the particular award. In general, if the country that you're interested in has an open study research award, generally that means that you can do pretty much anything that fits within the parameters of the open study research category. And within that award, generally speaking, an open study research award will allow you to, in most cases, there are exceptions to this, but in most cases, it will allow you to enroll in a graduate degree program. But keep in mind that Some of these open study research awards will give you the stipend for your living expenses, but may not cover your tuition if you're enrolled in the graduate degree program. Again, these specifics are laid out in the individual country award page. And so again, you should pay attention and make sure that you read the fine print. The application process. If you're going to be using the Fulbright for a graduate study, you're actually going to be doing two separate applications. The Fulbright application, according to the Fulbright schedule, with the Fulbright deadlines, this is going to cover. Fulbright is for the most part, with a handful of exceptions, for the most part, Fulbright is a funding only program. So it'll give you the money to go to graduate school, but it's not going to necessarily get you into graduate school. So you do the Fulbright application for the money, and then you're going to do a separate graduate admission application according to your graduate program schedule. Generally speaking, the Fulbright deadlines and the timetable will run ahead of the graduate admission timetable. And so you're going to be doing the Fulbright application first. And then after you're done with the Fulbright application, you're going to be doing the graduate admission application. It's typically how that works. But sometimes these deadlines, these timetables are overlapping. And so you might actually need to start your graduate admission application while you're still working on the Fulbright application, or maybe in between the campus deadline and the national deadline, while you're still waiting for your campus interview or revising your application after the campus interview. But keep in mind, in almost all cases, you will need to do two separate applications: one for the Fulbright for funding, and then another one for your graduate admission to be admitted into your graduate program choice. In the end, for you to be able to use the Fulbright Fellowship for graduate study, you need to have the official letter of admission to your graduate program before your Fulbright award can be finalized. So ultimately, you're going to get that official admission letter, and Fulbright, if you kind of keep going in the Fulbright selection process and you make the semifinalist, sometimes at the semifinalist stage, if you have the admission letter, they will ask you for it at that point. If you still don't have it at that point, then by the time you're designated finalist, they will definitely ask you for the official admission letter. And until you have that official admission letter, your Fulbright award will not be finalized. So you do two separate applications. You have to get yes from both ends of the application, both applications, in order for this to work. All right. So we mentioned earlier that as a part of your Fulbright application, you have to write a statement of grand purpose. So let's talk about, if you're writing a statement of grand purpose for to do graduate study with a Fulbright award, what are some of the things to think about? Obviously, the first thing you want to do is to research the graduate program and think about why this is going to be a good program for you. And one of the things that Fulbright would want to know in your applications: why is this particular graduate program at this particular university a good fit for you? Why do you want to go to this program? Why is this program a good fit? And this is both in terms of your preparation for this program, as well as your future beyond the program. What are you looking to do academically and professionally after you're done with this graduate degree program? And then, of course, you need to be able to explain, what are you going to study in the program? What do you want to learn? Why do you want to learn these things? Why are these things interest? And then, most critically, why is this program a good fit for you? Why does this, why does it work for you? And finally, why now as opposed to a year from now or 5 years from now? Why is this a good time for you to be on the Fulbright program and to go to graduate school? And then the other thing that you want to think about and be able to explain is your academic and career trajectory. So, how does this degree that you've chosen help you to achieve your academic and career goals? We're talking about both kind of short-term as well as medium and long-term. So where are you headed? we're talking usually for graduate study, for Fulbright, we're talking master's degree or short-term, 1 to 2 years in a graduate degree program. Well, what are you going to do after you're done with this graduate degree program? Where are you headed a medium to long term, let's say 5 to 10 years from now? What's next? And how does this particular degree program, graduate degree program that you've chosen, how does that relate it to what's next? Obviously, nobody's going to hold you to whatever you write about what's next and what your plans are, 5 to 10 years down the line. But we want a reasonable, we don't want it to be just, I don't know, or I'm not sure. I have kind of an idea, and that's okay. But we want something that's this is where I think I think I'm headed, and that's okay. And be kind of assertive and, sure sounding about what you want to do, even though, ultimately, by the time you get to that stage, you might not be doing that, and you might have a change of heart. And while you're in graduate school, you might discover something new, and you might have a change of heart. That's okay. This is what you think is going to happen right now as you're writing the statement. And that's okay. But we do want to see that you've actually thought about these things and what things are going to look like, and to be able to explain to somebody, clearly and succinctly what your plans are and what you'd like to be able to do. Okay. All right. Letter of affiliation. So I mentioned earlier that your official letter of admission to the graduate program is going to be required before the grant starts, and that's an absolute requirement. Now, in addition to this official letter of admission, in some cases, you might be required to have a letter of affiliation at the application deadline. Some countries require this. It's not required for all awards, but some countries do require that you have a letter of affiliation. So as I said, read the country award description and read the requirements, read the fine print carefully so that you know whether this is required or not. This is one of those things. There is a section on affiliation where they will spell this out very clearly, and it'll say for independent research, letter required at deadline. For graduate study, letter recommended but not required, or letter required at application deadline, or a letter not required. So make sure you pay attention. If a letter is required, you will need to get one from somebody at the institution where you're applying to graduate school. And then the question is, who do you get that letter from? Ideally, you want it to come from somebody who is going to be your potential academic advisor, or somebody that you can work with on your master's thesis or capstone project. So obviously, look at the list of faculty who teach in the program, find out what they do, what their research and teaching interests are, see how they match with your research and teaching research and learning interests, and then contact them and see if they'd be willing to be your advisor or mentor while you're in the graduate program. Explain to them that you're applying for a master's program, you're interested in applying for a master's program, and that you're also applying for the Fulbright Fellowship, and that the Fulbright Fellowship requires a letter of affiliation. Would they be willing to write one? And the kind of letter that you typically get, and the one that for a graduate study, is the kind of letter that says, if so and so is admitted to the master's program, I am willing to serve as his or her academic advisor, or a capstone project mentor, something like that. So that's what they're looking for in the letter of affiliation. Basically, this is to say that you've actually made a good faith effort to learn about the graduate program and make contacts with the faculty who teach in the program to make sure that what you're interested in pursuing through that graduate program is actually compatible with what they're teaching in that program. Okay. All right, just a couple more. This is just a a kind of a basic contact list of where how you can learn more about the Fulbright program and get connected. The This website here, us.fulbrightonline.org, is the national Fulbright website, and this is where you will find the country and the award descriptions. Generic email address for if you have any questions that we can't answer that you need to get to. You need to ask IIE about. This is where you'll be able to get a hold of them. And then finally, our contact information at the International Institute in terms of where you find us, where if you ever need to come and find us, and if you'd like to come and see us in person during our advising hours, you're welcome to do that. We're located in Weiser Hall on the 3rd floor, and here's our contact information, phone number, email, our website, and then finally, we have an online advising appointment scheduler that you can click and get to and self-schedule an advising appointment. All right, so I am going to stop the PowerPoint here and end the slideshow. And what I want to do is to so this is, as I mentioned, the Fulbright National Fulbright website. We'll just do a quick tour of where to find things and just show you a couple of things. This countries tab, it's organized by region. This will give you which countries have Fulbright awards. Then from there, you will see the specific awards that are available in each country. So if you go to East Asia Pacific, that will give you the map here and links to all the countries here. And I want to show you, so let's go to Taiwan. Taiwan has English Teaching Assistant Award, 150. This is a Fulbright Debate Coach Trainer Award. It's a special type of an ETA award. There are 2 of them. Taiwan has a whole bunch of master's degree program awards where a particular one Fulbright award is tied to a specific university and specific program within the specific university. And they have a whole bunch of these, as you can see. And then finally, in the end, an Open Study Research Award. And because they have this long list of master's degree awards, the Open Study Research Award for Taiwan does not allow graduate study. So if you go and look at this Open Study Research Awards, there are 4 of them. They'll tell you the accepted degree level, the award type, give you a profile, length, the period, orientation, what are they looking for in terms of a candidate profile, eligibility, extra country-specific eligibility rules, foreign language proficiency requirement, not required. Proposal types. This is where you find out whether a graduate degree enrollment is allowed or not. So here you can see that for the Taiwan Open Study, independent study research, yes. Graduate degree enrollment, no. So you can't use this Open Study Research award for Taiwan to apply for graduate degree enrollment. And the reason for that for Taiwan is that they have a whole bunch of these awards that are specifically for specific master's degrees. And because they have these awards, they don't allow graduate degree applications for the Open Study Research award. The other thing I want to show you, if you go look at the applicants tab, go to types of awards, go see study research, you get a kind of a basic description of the study research award. And then if you scroll down, you will see the graduate degree grants. And by country, in alphabetical order, you will see whether this particular country does the Open Study Research Award accept graduate degree proposals, yes or no? And so Argentina, yes. Austria, no. Belgium, yes. So the vast majority of the countries, they say yes, but you can see that there are a few. So Israel, no. And it's because Israel has the MA degree award that's specific for master's degrees. And so you will see whether the Open Study Research Award accepts a graduate degree application and also if there are specific graduate degree award opportunities for that country. And so Australia has these, Australia has this one, and you can scroll and see there are some countries that have a lot of them. There are other countries that don't. And so you can, so this is another way of finding out which countries have awards that are specific to graduate study, and which countries take the graduate study option in the open study application. Okay,